Coconut, and today we are talking yarn needles. Now, yesterday, and if you haven't seen yesterday's video, go watch it. It's on fiberfill. And the main thing that we learned from it was that basically the type of yarn fiberfill that you're going to put in your amigurumi is pretty much based on who you're going to give it to. And today we will find out that the type of yarn needle you use is dependent on a couple main things. Okay, one, yeah, there is personal preference, but two really key things in choosing out what kind of yarn needles that you get is one, are your amigurumis being crocheted in the back loop only, or are you doing it through both loops? Okay, and the size of the amigurumi also makes a difference on which kind of yarn needle that you're going to use. Now, I'll give you an example, and I will get my coffee cup out of the way. The cats have been running back and forth behind me, so they keep trying to knock it over. Anyway, this here, for anyone who's not familiar with crocheting in the back loop, is what a back loop crochet looks like. Ta-da! Mrs. Yeti! You can see when you crochet in the back loop, it pushes that front loop forward and creates this cool little ridge over the back, over your whole design. And the thing about that ridge is that it makes it very easy to sew things on because your loop is right there. So it doesn't matter if you have a hard metal yarn needle. I'm with it today. Hard yarn needle, or you have the soft bendy type, and because they're all just going to easily slide straight into there. But what if you decide, no, I don't want something that simple. I want a more complex and a smaller amigurumi, like a cat. That works. Okay, so this cat has a great big head and a little bitty body, little bitty legs, and a cute little tail, little ears, and you also have to do the mouth. Now, when this one was originally made a couple years ago, before Skinny Butt the cat got a hold of it, it was really solid, very, very solid, and a very tight crochet, because I was doing it very traditional way. And so when I went to put little bendy in there, it wouldn't go in like that. It was really tight to get it in. I can do it now. I can pop anything in there really, and it'll be fine. But it will be for the simple fact that the yarn has loosened up, and so it's easy to slide anything through. But when I was trying to get it through this little section here, right down into there, into the neck, in order to get the neck sewn on, it drove me nuts, because all this thing did was just keep bending and bending on me, which is how I ended up going to my random Walmart and picked up this fat needle. That's a regular yarn needle, but it's made out of metal and it's blunt on the top. And so anyways, it made it easier to get in because it was tougher. It wasn't bending on me the whole time, and eventually it will go in. But it was also really hard to get through on the yarn. So it was really discouraging at times working with this one. But eventually, you just get used to it. And then you also had the legs that were right up into the neck, which made it even more difficult, even with this one, to get those on. Now, some of you may be able to do this stuff with ease. I'm not one of them. Now, let's say that you want to go for an even smaller amigurumi, which is going to be a smaller needle size. This is cute, adorable little chihuahua. And what sort of challenges will it bring you then? I snapped one of these buggers on it. So there goes that. We never want to use a little flexible bendy on a tiny little amigurumi like this, because they will snap. The other problem was this guy. Look how big he is. He's bigger than the poor little fellow himself. Look at that. And it's fat. And you've got small stitches. And you're trying to take a great big fat hook and stick it in there. and bring it up. It works. Yes, of course it works. It's a needle. It's going to go through. But when you're trying to put two tiny bodies together, and you're trying to put a little arm right into the nook of that thing, it gets very, very frustrating. So I hopped on my bike and I went to a random Walmart and I picked up what is the ultimate in amigurumi. It's using a bent tip needle. Look at that, the bent tip. And it's sleek and slender and absolutely wonderful. Okay? Now, it does have a smaller eyelet on it. Okay? No problem. That's what these are for. This is a yarn threader. And this end, you can use smaller threads, and this end for regular thread. And I've had no problems ever putting all kinds of crazy yarns through this thing. I'll give you an example. Like with Red Hearts with Love, it's very thick, a very thick yarn. It's very bouncy and springy, and I can just put that sucker straight on through. It doesn't tear the yarn up as it slides around. You know, there's no problem with it whatsoever. Well, you know, that is another thing, by the way. It's nice because not having the really wide eyelet on it, the yarn doesn't slide out as much. And I found that the yarn does have a habit of doing that with that one because I'm not always paying attention. Shame on me. But anyways, this is so much easier, and let me show you why. It's because you're just going down, like getting that pointy end, going straight down. Well, as soon as you straighten it up even a little bit, it's already starting to pop up. And hold on, already starting to pop up, and it'll go straight through. Now, you'll see that I couldn't see very well. Poor little fella. I couldn't see very well when I was putting that in. So I ended up going through two different, almost 3 stitches there. Yeah, it is 3 stitches there. But as soon as you go down and push it up, you're already coming through the top. That's what makes this one so nice, is it really does reduce, one, a lot of stress on your hands. It's just simpler to get into those tiny spaces because once you go in, you pop it on out, and there you are. And I better quit doing that. If I tear this up, Mom will kill me. I made this one for her. So anyway, but just very simple work. Let me do it again. I'll do it on this one where you're just popping up. Just down, bend, and it's up. So this is excellent for getting into those small spots. It's good for big spots. I use this for everything, especially in working with 100% cotton yarns. It's also great. This I only use for doing like if I've blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's say I'm using an end hook or something large like that. That's when I use this because it's already got big holes in it, so you know it'll just slip right on through. But otherwise, this I use for everything else. This guy, I don't even bother with him anymore because he's pretty much pointless. He's there to remind me why I don't like him. Um, I know, terrible. So anyways, that's it. If you want to have your amigurumi go much easier, more efficient, and everything, this little guy is the way to go. He really is. You'll fall in love with this one. And I swear, once you get used to using it, you're not going to want to use any other yarn needles. You really won't. So anyways, something I forgot to do in yesterday's video, I forgot to put the links to the amigurumis that I showed. And really, if you are using somebody else's pattern and you're using them even as a demo, you should put off the links for other people to be able to buy those because that's only proper good business. And I just was out of it yesterday and I didn't do that. So I'm putting those onto yesterday's podcast. And then for today's, I'll also have these on where you can find the patterns in the books. this and this both came from, what was it? Amigurumi Toy Box book. This was Amigurumi on the go. And this, of course, came from Stacy Trock's course on Craftsy called uh, uh, Crochet in the Round and Making Your Own Amigurumis monsters or designing your own. Anyways, and that's where I got this idea from. And then I made it my own little um, girl from it. This guy, he came from somewhere on Ravelry. I'll have to look up his pattern and put the link for it as well. But anyways, those are up. Something also mandatory. If you buy from any of the links that take you to Amazon, I do make an eensy weensy amount, like 20 cents or something like that half the time off of books. But it does help in the long run, and it does help support the show. And that's it for now. Hope you have a great day. Have fun with your amigurumi, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Catch you later.